So I got up this morning and I spent my time with God. I was able to really pray and pour out my heart. And then I did my little devotionals. I have two books that I chose to use this time. And I asked God to speak to me today, and He did. So I'm going to kind of take you on the journey that I took. So first, after I had prayed, I read in my Jesus Calling book. This one here, my mom sent me this years ago, and it's funny because this is the first day that I've come across that I've actually filled in 2023, 2024, and 2025. So apparently this is a day where I decided that I really needed God's help. And sure enough, it says, "Let me help you through this day." Okay. Says the challenges you face are far too great for you to handle alone. You are keenly aware of your helplessness in the scheme of events you face. This awareness opens up a choice: to doggedly go it alone, or to walk with me in humble steps of dependence. Actually, this choice is continually before you, but difficulties highlight the decision-making process. So consider it all joy whenever you are enveloped in various trials. These are gifts from me, reminding you to rely on me alone. And then the verses it references, Psalm 46:1, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Psalm 63:7-8, because you are my help, I sing in the shadow of your wings. My soul clings to you. Your right hand upholds me. And James 1:2-3, consider it wholly joyful, my brethren, whenever you are enveloped in or encounter trials of any sort or fall into various temptations. Be assured and understand that the trial and proving of your faith bring out endurance and steadfastness and patience. So then I moved over into a book that a coworker gave me, and I miss her. She's so dear to me. She really gave me a great example of a good Christian woman, and I love her. I miss her. Anyway, so she sent me, she gave me New Morning Mercies, and it's also a daily thing. And so I went to March 7th, and it kind of has a top. Hold on, I got hair in my mouth. Okay, at the top it has a little, like, I guess, get started, this is what we're talking about kind of thing. And then it just discusses and gives a chapter to study more, which I went into. So again, I'm taking you on this journey. It's the heart that's the problem. People, locations, and situations don't cause me to sin. They're where the sin of my heart gets revealed. If you ask the little boy why he hit his sister, he won't tell you it was because of the sin that's in his heart. No, he'll say, she was bothering me. If you ask the teenager why he came in so late, he won't willingly take responsibility, but he'll tell you a long story about how there was an accident on the freeway, then a long train he had to wait for, and then a water main break that flooded the street he normally drives on. If you ask the father why he is so angry all the time, he won't tell you it's because of the selfishness and impatience in his heart. No, he'll say it's because of his kids. They just drive him crazy. If you ask the single person why she's so moody and discontent, she won't say it's because of the jealousy that resides in her heart. She'll point to all the ways that life has been hard. If you ask the old man why he is so mean, he won't tell you it's because of the bitterness that has captured his heart. No, he'll talk about all the times in his life when he didn't get what he knew he deserved. Sometimes I think it's the one biblical truth that no one believes. When we do something wrong, we all tend to point outside of ourselves for the cause. This traffic makes me so angry, she gets me so upset, or my boss pulls the worst out of me. It's a comfortable street-level heresy. It feels good to think that your biggest problems in life exist outside you and not inside you. But the problem is that it simply is not true. Jesus devastated the self-atoning perspective on human behavior in the Sermon on the Mount. You have heard that it was said to those of old, "You shall not murder." But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. You have heard that it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Matthew 5:21-22 and 27-28. Sin is a matter of the heart before it is ever excuse me. Sin is a matter of the heart before it is ever an issue of our behavior. I'm going to read that again. Sin is a matter of the heart before it is ever an issue of our behavior. This means that your and my biggest problem in life exists inside us and not outside us. It's the evil inside me that connects me to the evil outside me. So I must confess that I am my greatest problem. And if I confess this, I am saying that I don't so much need to be rescued from people, locations, and situations. I am in desperate need of the grace that is alone able to rescue me from sin. I can escape situations and relationships, but I have no power to escape me. This is exactly why David prayed in Psalm 51 that God would create a clean heart in him. God's grace is grace for the heart. And that is very good news. So then for further study and encouragement, read James 4:1-10. And so I ended up just reading the whole chapter of James 4. Let me grab that. Get a drink of my coffee too. Too much talking. All right. James chapter 4. What causes quarrels and what causes fights among you? Is it not this, that your passions are at war within you? You desire and do not have, so you murder. You covet and cannot obtain, so you fight and quarrel. You do not have because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive because you ask wrongly to spend it on your passions. You adulterous people, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. Or do you suppose it is to no purpose that the Scripture says, "He yearns jealously over the Spirit that he has made to dwell in us"? But he gives more grace. Therefore it says, "God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble." Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Be wretched and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will exalt you. Do not speak evil against one another, brothers. The one who speaks against a brother or judges his brother speaks evil against the law and judges the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is only one lawgiver and judge, he who is able to save and to destroy. But who are you to judge your neighbor? Come now, you who say, "Today or tomorrow we will go into such and such town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit." Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, "If the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that." And as it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. All of these things kind of came together for me in an interesting way. And it made me think about what is the sin in my heart? What is the root of the behaviors, especially the addiction to food that I've been battling and I'm really tackling now, and I love this last sentence. Whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. And that's where the Spirit convicts us. And so conviction is something that helps pull you closer to God. It helps you to step into who he intended you to be, how he intends you to live. The enemy uses guilt and condemnation. And so if you're feeling guilty about your actions, or like you've screwed up so badly that nothing can ever fix it, that's not of God. that's of the devil, and he's trying to keep you from reaching for God to find that real peace that only God can provide. And so I wrote, the sin in my heart is guiding the behaviors. No outside things. I can try to blame it on trauma, and while trauma does have a physical impact, it is not the deeper why. My deeper evil heart led why. My evil heart led why, right? The why that my heart is pushing is that I am selfishly seeking satisfaction, happiness, and calm. I desire these things, so I seek them out in the world when I need to seek God instead. The joy that God gives is lasting. I know this. I've experienced this, right? But my behaviors don't indicate that. The things I've been seeking are fleeting, which is why I keep reaching for more. No, I must control my heart and find my calm and contentment at Jesus' feet. And it's difficult because so much of the world says, you know, your trauma caused this. The way that your brain has been wired causes these behaviors. And in a sense, yes. In some sense, yes, that's true. But we must control our hearts. God did not give us a spirit of fear and weakness, but one of control, one of self-control. I don't remember what that verse actually says, but I'll find it. The point is, I have fallen for years into the idea that, you know, I do these things because of the past traumas, and there's lots of them. And I can't diminish the fact that there's definitely an impact on my brain and how my body functions. But it's how my body functions, and I can control my body, right? I can control my actions. And if I can't, there might be a bigger problem, but I can. I choose not to. I choose to fall into chasing my desires. I choose to get frustrated with my children because I want time to do something else. I want it to go a certain way. I want them to respond a certain way. I want them to obtain the information and learn and do better. But I'm not putting it in their hands. I'm not putting it in God's hands. I'm still trying to control out of my own selfish desire for my outcomes. And that's a hard pill to swallow. But nonetheless, that's what I have to come to terms with. And so my encouragement today is that you figure out what is that evil part of your heart. What is the thing that is really behind your responses, your actions, your behaviors, your frustrations, your anger? What are the things that your heart is telling you to seek? Above all, our hearts are evil and they are not to be trusted, despite the song, "Listen to Your Heart," right? That song came on a lot when I was first dating my ex-husband. Every single time I was going to leave, that song came on. And I see how it didn't serve me well at all. I'm not saying that everything was a mistake. I love my son, and I grew a lot out of that. And everything I've learned has been something that I can help other people with. I wouldn't change a thing. But looking back upon it, you can't trust your heart. You can't trust your heart. There is a deeper soul level where the Spirit speaks with us, where your intuition, so to speak, says, hey, wait a minute. Maybe we need to do something different. And it's this little bitty voice that's really, really easy to ignore. Be like, yeah, but no, I don't want to do that right now. I've been arguing with God for weeks, maybe months, about needing to do better with my diet specifically, and then with the exercise, and especially with my time with him, needing the quiet time, not the I'm going to seek you while I'm in the middle of Cadence watching a movie and reading books and sitting on my lap and all the things, right? I need that quiet time, and I've argued about it. How do I create that time? How am I going to? Blah, blah, blah. I've made the time. My husband helped significantly to help me make the time and actually wake me up, and he's so sweet. He made me coffee. And so it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. And with each choice, with each step, it keeps getting easier and easier. And so, as you are identifying what it is that's at the root of your behaviors, consciously make those choices to step into God's path. Where do you want me to take this next step? How do you want me to make this next choice? How do you want me to respond to this thing that's come up? And He will guide you. Just gotta listen to the itty bitty quiet voice back there, and don't argue with it. Don't think that you know better, because we don't. We think we know ourselves so well, but we lie to ourselves so often. And God knows. God knows the lies we tell ourselves, and He knows us in and out deeper than any of us could ever imagine knowing ourselves, because He created us and He loves us immensely. So let Him guide you. Don't be afraid. He has it all handled. You can trust Him.